Salted water for boiling. November 2001, filed under gourmet. Ingredients: salt and water. Preparation: when salting water for cooking, use 1 tablespoon of salt for every 4 quarts of water. That's it. You now have salted water ready to be boiled. Reviews: love to make it, but is it gluten-free?
This recipe is a keeper. The only change I made was buttering the pot. The water slid right out, no cleanup.
Can I use dehydrated water?
Made this last night. I have to say, came out a little bland. We'll try adding more salt next time.
What an amazing recipe! I've been on a minimalist kick recently, inspired by Mark Britman, and this one pulls all those 5 ingredients recipes to shame. I tried further reducing it to 1 ingredient, but it turned out to be a wee bit salty for my tastes.
I use this as holy water when I pronounce specific prayers upon it. Good for regular and irregular huntings. Good for living and non-living huntings. Reliable and then never come back again. After 2 different surgeries, I was served this recipe at a room from a bag connected directly into my arm. I can't attest to the flavour, but it certainly did refresh me and keep me going. I would highly recommend this and would be interested in the warmer version offered in the recipe.
Since I'm lucky enough to live by the sea, I find it easier to simply use seawater, and it gives my salt water a bit of umami. Yummy.
I forgot to add, you can get the same dish from your toilet. Yes, the standing water. However, the salt will be of a different variety.
Looks amazing. Haven't made it yet, but wanted to be the 100th person to review. Always into trying new things. Innovation is always nice. Slightly roast the salt with a pinch of, with salt. Once the roasting process is done, go for a walk. Come back and all you have to do is add water. The dish is ready to be served.
This recipe was so disappointing. I made few changes. I added tuna, capers, ancho chili, sweet pickles, heavy cream, bananas, bell peppers, peanut butter cups, and tomato paste. All of which are delicious, and it came out disgusting. Do not try this recipe.
Anyone have a salt-free, paleo-friendly version of this recipe? We're having some guests over that have a few dietary restrictions.
Type of water makes a big difference. Make sure to use small batch, free range, cage free, and vegetarian fed water.
I'm confused. Help me. Do I add the salt to the water, or water to the salt during preparation? It just doesn't taste as good as you get at the finer restaurants. I think that it must be the way that I prepare it.
The robot overlords, thank you for this pedantry.
Has anyone tried substituting water with ice cubes? For some reason, mine came out just like the original recipe, but it just took a little longer.
One fun little fact about this recipe, it actually garnishes itself. Just leave a big batch of this sitting on a giant rock and just wait a few billion years. It will be full of squid, cattle, grapes, and other delicious additions. Truly, we are all salted water for boiling.
Can I use this same recipe for the microwave?
I do a cold brew version of this and it's awesome. This was even better the second day. Served it with a nice glass of salad.
I've been watching this for 3 days, waiting for it to boil. What am I doing wrong?
Thank you for this recipe. I've sent it to my ex-wife, hoping to have finally found something within her range.
Great recipe. Though I added some pepper to the soup and it still tasted great. Just like old times when my mom made it. Do you have a gluten-free version of this?
I do not recommend this recipe. I got the cooking pot, I got the water, I got the salt. Nothing is happening. The salt is just sitting at the bottom of the pot. These are not very good directions. You just end up with watery salt towards the end of it.
I found it's best to freeze individual portions as the texture suffers from repeat thawing and refreezing of larger quantities. So handy as a side for unexpected guests too.
This is the best recipe ever! Expect rave reviews! Everyone will want the recipe, It really is a recipe you will find nowhere else.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I had this recipe years ago, and over the years it got lost. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to see this in print again. My family will be so thrilled. Now, how about that recipe for ice water?
I usually like my water a little drier. Do you have a recipe for that?
I thought it was a little watery. Can one start with seawater and skip a step?
Brings me back to my childhood. My mum made the best salted water. A recipe handed down from her mum. Great memories.
Is it possible to get nutritional info for this recipe?
Does the salt need to be dry before measuring it out? Mine is damp. Should I dry it first?
Not enough bacon.
Can I use diet water? I'm watching my calories. Also, will dehydrated water work as well? I've had some issues with this in the past and found it lacking, but I don't have any other choice without a trip to the grocery store.
Just found out my boyfriend has been cheating on me. As I was cooking my favourite comfort food, salted water, I realised that if I substitute both the water and the salt with my tears of sorrow, it was so much more comforting.
This sounds great, but I was wondering if I could gluten-free pasta to it? Or would that be gilding the lily?
I didn't have any salt, so I used flour instead, and I'm allergic to water, so I substituted prune juice. Then I added some onions for texture. It was awful. What a waste of time and ingredients. Even the dog wouldn't eat it, and she eats her own poop.
In Cali, we're having a serious water shortage. Would it still work if I omitted the water, and if so, how much longer should I cook the salt? Someone please clarify. Does the salt get put into the water, or does the water get added to the salt? Please help me, as I'm waiting to fry my fish in it.
I thought this might be too fancy for a Super Bowl party, but decided to go with it anyway. Everyone loved it and wanted the recipe. Told them nope, it was my secret. So good.
I tried this recipe, but ran out of salt and substituted sugar. Wow, great dessert.